Welcome to the beautiful world of aquascaping. For those of you that are new to this channel, we are all about aquascaping. We are about teaching you guys how to do this if you're new to this. We're also here to help you if you are not new but you have no idea what you're doing. We've all been there. But yeah, let's get to it. So this is an ADA Mini M aquarium. This is quite small, it's 20 liters. The sizes are 36 by 22 by 26 centimeters. Balázs has done a tank like this, I don't know, about over a year ago. And that video is quite successful. I think it's over 1 million views now. So I'm here to beat that. And I'm gonna take a completely different route. First of all, this is a size that could be a really good first tank for anyone. But even though I'm doing aquascaping for 8 years now, I'm actually never building in such small tanks. So this is a first for me as well. I'm gonna go with rocks as I always do. So this is gonna be basically an Iwagumi build. This is a new light from Chihiros. It's all adjustable. We're gonna show you that you can adjust the colors from your phone and so on. For filtration, I'm gonna go with the Eheim Experience 150. We're not using the Experience filters on this channel too much, but it's actually one of the best filters out there. It's really quiet. And it's really good if you have a very small tank, but you don't want to have an internal filter. First, because it's never gonna be stable enough. And second, it takes up too much space of the tank itself. So it's always better to go with an external filter for aesthetics. I'm gonna use the ADA Amazonia version 2 as my soil, Seriu rocks as the hardscape. The carpet itself is gonna be one of the most difficult plants in aquascaping. This is utricularia graminifolia. We've had success with this plant and we've had huge failures with this plant. And I think this goes for anyone who's into aquascaping and anyone who's ever tried this plant. It's always 50-50 if it's gonna work. Choose a different plant if you can, if you're really doing this for the first time. If you spend the money on an ADA tank, it only has the sticker on one side. So Balázs missed this last time, he built it the wrong way around, so make sure that this is on the front if you want to see it. I only need the first layer of soil to be able to put the hardscape on something. This gives a bit of stability to the hardscape itself if you put it onto the soil. I have a small amount of rocks. If I just picked out the smaller pieces, I'm gonna basically improvise the hardscape. I'm choosing the rocks based on their texture, mainly. Try to choose your hardscape by matching the stones, even if you're using just one type of stone. If it's too different, it doesn't look natural. Okay, so what I have in mind is making layers from the hardscape. So I want a barrier at the front. If you just look at it, it seems too big for this size, but if you want to build depth, which is quite a common thing in aquascaping and especially for competitions and so on, you want bigger things in the front and smaller things in the backside, so that gives you the illusion of the smaller things being far away from you. This is filter floss. It's really good as well for stopping the soil coming forward onto the sand. You should make sure that you don't see this from the front, but actually over time it gets brownish, greenish tint, so it kind of blends in with an aquascape, but well, it's not the most natural side, so try to hide it as well as you can. When you're choosing the base for your aquarium, make sure that you only use sand or gravel in the parts where you don't want to put plants. Wherever you want to put plants, you have to use some kind of soil. For example, the ADA Amazonia, this is a clay-based soil. These are very small clay pebbles. Actually, first of all, it's good for the plant roots. The structure itself makes it easy for the plants to root into. And also it has some nutrients inside which the plant's gonna take up after filling the tank. If you want to see more tutorials like this or any kind of educational video about aquascaping, then please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to get notifications. There's no actual rules of placing the rocks. It's really up to you and your taste. We take a few things in mind when we do this. First of all, the golden ratio. Try to put weight into that part of your scape. If you're using stones or using wood, have an even number of pieces. That's something that can't really be explained why, at least I can't. But it's something that looks better for your mind if you have uneven pieces. This is not the most stable aquascape you're ever gonna see. It's more stable than what I usually do. Okay, so if you want height, you just pour in some soil and then you can actually lift the rocks that you've already put in and make them higher because they're already standing on a layer of soil now. And I need even more. So what I want is a really thin layer of sand in the front. I'm covering some of the soil with sand because I want to make a path coming from the front to the back. This can also give depth to your aquarium. Things you want to avoid when building tanks. You don't want everything to be in the same level at the back, so you have to make sure that the top of the mountains or the rock pieces are a different height. Same goes if you're using wood. You don't want two pieces of wood to end at the same height. And you want to avoid symmetry. It's something for your mind. If it's too symmetrical, it's not natural. Symmetry in nature is really rare. Very, very important. You need to wet the soil before planting. It makes it much easier. The plant itself sticks to the soil much better if it's wet. This is called an in vitro plant, which means it's made in a laboratory and it's placed into a nutrition-full gel on the bottom. You can keep these plants for weeks, even after receiving them from wherever you buy them from, but you shouldn't ever open them before using. And there's hardly any gel left, but you should rinse it and wash off any excess gel. You don't want any of the gel in your tank. It can actually suffocate the plant later on. I just tear it in half, grab my pincet and just take up a piece and start planting. You need to put the plant quite deep into the soil, so don't worry about it reaching the light. It's gonna be fine, it's gonna come out by itself. But if you don't put it deep enough, then the water actually gonna bring it up when you fill the tank. Utricularia, I told you at the beginning, this is one of the most difficult plants in aquascaping. The reason for that is it doesn't like nitrates, which most of the other plants actually need. What I'm using here is the new Amazonia version 2, which is actually low on nutrients, so there's not such a high peak of ammonia at the beginning, so I won't have too much nitrate in the water. For most planted tanks, you need a lot of liquid fertilizers as well. You need to give your plants some iron, some nitrate, some phosphate, and all these come from the liquid fertilizers because besides taking up nutrients from their roots, they also take up nutrients through their leaves. But in this case, because of keeping low nitrates, because of the utricularia, we're only gonna add potassium into the water, and we're gonna use the ADA Bright Decay for that. It's a perfect source for potassium. You basically don't need anything else in a tank like this. Oh, and it's really important, if you're building for yourself and not for showroom and not for video, you don't need to use this much plant. If you use more plants, obviously you're gonna have a final look much quicker, and also it helps with taking up excess nutrients, so you have less chance of getting algae in the tank in the first few weeks. Is it gonna be better than the 1 million view of Balázs? I'm guessing it depends on the utricularia now. If it grows out nicely, then it's gonna be a successful video.
And we can be so
even though I'm really overplanting the tank, you don't need this much. Still, I'm at 4 pots and it's gonna be enough. So that's another really good thing for starting out your first aquascape going with the nano size, is that you don't need too much plants, you don't need too much soil, you don't need too much hardscape. It's much cheaper to build a tank like this. What you have in depth, so for example, if you have 30 centimeters in depth, you can have about 30 centimeters of soil in the back of the tank. And if you go higher than what your depth is, then it's just gonna fall down. Now for the vinyl. It's not something you have to do, but we usually do this. It's a simple white vinyl. You can buy this at any Home Depot style place. It's nothing fancy, it's only to give more light in the background. It creates the illusion that that you have like a light screen from ADA, which is available for bigger aquariums, but for a small one like this, it's not. So you can create this effect with a foil. You put it on roughly. If you would look at this from the front, you would still see some bubbles underneath. It actually dries out with time, so you don't have to worry about that. I think I should try to move it into place, shouldn't I? I have all these very small rock pieces, which is good to create a gradient between the rock and the sand. We had about a 50-50 chance with the utricularia to grow or to die. It seems it decided to grow, which is a very happy thing for us. We've introduced some fish. We went with the Boraras brigite. Usually with such small tanks we go with some kind of Boraras. Well, they need some time to show that they are red. You can't really see it now. Later on, we're going to introduce some shrimps as well. If you build a nano tank, you definitely have to go with some shrimps. They pop really nicely. And also some algae eaters. This is weird. Usually we put in the algae eaters first, but in this case, the utricularia sticks a bit more difficultly into the soil than any other plant. And we didn't want to risk that we put in the amano shrimps and they start to dig around and they take out all the utricularia, so we're gonna give it some more time to root properly and introduce the algae eaters after that. That's it. See you in the next one. Goodbye.
Next week on Green Aqua, red is the new green. Balazs is back with the red planted tank.